How you doing, church? It's Kevin Duclairon. This is the third video. The Lord had asked me to start it here on this side. I'm on Northeast Cooch, directly behind me here, and Martin Luther King. As I was crossing the street, I noticed, this is video 3 of the cross and canning destroyed. If you notice, the word here is Dottier, which reminds me of Dottie, the relationship between Diana, Princess of Wales, and Dottie, which led to her passing, her death. The woman that I was trying to tell you in the storage. I couldn't really talk because it's a storage, it's inside, and there's not supposed to be really video taping inside. But in any case, I was briefly reminded of how those people over there have been dealing with the Queen of Wales, and I shared with you that I believe she's a suspect in the destruction of my tent, the new ministry tent, that she obviously has something to do with it, and the people that are behind it are those people who are her subjects. How you doing? The people that she considers to be her subjects, and namely, I guess African Americans, homosexuals, a clan, people of that nature, people that are from the church. We're the war, we're the war against a crown, a way of life, demanding for others to subject themselves. The root of this entire hit is subordination and slavery. When I came into the country back in 1981, I didn't know that was the reason why I was brought into the country. The woman that was representing her, Gabriel Franklin, and the man that was representing Charles, E. Franklin, presented themselves as potential parents, guardians, but they didn't tell me that the root of it was subordination and slavery, and that they were going to be taking control over every aspect of my natural born life for the last 40 years. So this isn't a war that just started last night because they went to the tent on Ankeny and Broadway and slashed it open and stole 5 bags of food and clothing, my Bible, my Chromebook, my record book, which has all the information, like the telephone number, banking information. They took pretty much, the heart of what that ministry would have contained, and I didn't see it coming. I mean, I knew they had people sizzling, but I didn't know that she could stoop so low. And of course, with her is MacArthur, and John is in the shadows with her, and the two of them have been working. And she's on one side using Gabriel, and he's on the other side using his daughter Melinda. So I'm hearing her here, I'm hearing Gabriel here, aka Elizabeth, and I'm hearing Melinda on the other side. And it's like the good angel and the evil angel, but in this case it's 2 evil angels, telling you or calling you out and telling you all the destructive things that they're going to do against you unless you subject yourself to this monarch, to this woman, to this hermaphrodite president of a seminary that's predominantly European. And I don't think they ever intended for me to graduate from the school, because this is what we go to school for. This ministry that I've been trying to do in the city for the last 10 years. This is why we go to seminary. This is why we go out of our way to be trained in the Greek and the Hebrew and the history and the theology, and we go through all of that so we could put up a structure to invite the sheep in to worship, to serve. these people are not interested in the worship. They're not interested in the service. They're not interested in the work of the ministry. The only thing they're interested in is subordination of Africans, slavery of Africans, especially when it's outside of the realm of Scripture and outside of the fellowship of the saints. I've been isolated out here for the last 23, going on 24 years. When I started with MacArthur, it was back in '96, and he took it off of the property. I didn't know this was the root and the problem of the issue. I thought it was his daughter Melinda, because he's a white supremacist who doesn't approve of the union between Africans and white Americans, but it was worse than that. So now I'm heading back to the tent. I don't know what else they've taken. I don't know what else they've destroyed. I'm not sure what they've sabotaged. They had 2 men right outside of my storage across the river. We're back here now in Portland. We're on the other side of that major tower right there. And so last night I had to come here to this US Bancorp tower right there. This tower here. I had to come here in the middle of the night and ask the security at the desk. One of them was a European, the other one was a Hebrew. The Lord told me to go to the Hebrew, who was further. That's the desk. That's the desk over there. But that's not the guy that made the call for me. And so when he called, he had to wait for about 15 minutes or so. So he called and he told me to go outside. But then one thing though, he turned. And when he turned, I kind of knew things were not going to happen the way I expected them. He told me that the police department was going to meet me at the tent. The police department never showed up. 3 cars went down. 2 or 3 cars went down Burnside, and they never turned to the tent. They never turned to the tent to come and take a direct report from me. One of the cars was going down Broadway, and I had to literally almost jump in front of the vehicle to put an end to his driving, and for me to get his attention, and to say, hey, I had about an hour ago I called for a car. Was anybody going to come? And he spoke to me briefly for a minute or so. And I explained to him what was going on. And I also told him that I need a police report for somebody to see what the damage was that they had done. Another hour passes by, and this is Pine right here, right? This is Southwest Pine. And another car was coming from around the corner here, and he was about to make a right turn, and I was standing there at the corner. And I flagged him down and asked him to come and take the report. And he spoke to me briefly, his name was Arnold. He didn't tell me his name. He pulled up his car right here. He wouldn't get out of the car, no matter how much I tried to nudge him to come out of the car and to look at the damage. It looks fine, right? This is part of. You can see that it's all messed up right there. This was on the. This is what it still looks that way, but that I think was the assailant right there. I think they had something to do with it. They were the people whom was used. Problem is, I can't prove it because I wasn't here. Yesterday when I was taping, there was a man here who was crouched, and he was sort of like crouched in a fetal position, and his rear end was completely exposed right here. I'm not sure who he was. He was a white guy. And over here, while I was doing this taping here, this is the hit right there. While I was doing the taping, there was an African American right there, and there was a white woman here with black high heels hiding behind an umbrella. I don't know who the African American was, and therefore I don't really know. He was the one that asked me, and I don't think he asked me right before I made the video whether or not I was serving food, and I said, no, I'm not serving food. This isn't a food ministry. This isn't a food ministry. This is a ministry for the church. And he says, oh, okay. I'm just opening this thing here. I'm going to show you from the inside what they did. They told me there was a snake in here last night. Melinda said to me there was a snake in here. Now, to get into this tent, I don't really need to lock it. Why? Because it's already been sabotaged. Now, when I showed this to you yesterday, this is not how it was, okay? This was not how it was. Okay, so this is the tent now. It's a pretty sizable tent. You can see it's this area here. This is where this here was the podium. I had this set up here. I'll show you. Give me a second here. Kind of discombobulate it. So this here is where this was. Right? But it was upside down. Okay, so this is the podium here. And on top of here was a Bible. The big red Bible that you saw at the storage. The Bible was here. On top of the Bible. On top, it was like this. And the two chairs. The two chairs. This was here like a wall. This thing here. This was a wall here, facing, sort of like it was enclosed into this. This is an office area here. The back door was going to lead to a storage, and this stuff here was going to be put in the storage. This big black bag, the box over there, that box back there. This is where I was lodging while I was doing ministry. I have to keep it mobile in case the Lord wants me to move to another location somewhere. You could see that this is Gabriel. Okay, this is how she talks. This is Gabriel Franklin who left the gum there. Yesterday when I showed you the cross, it was on that end there, and the elastic was like this, okay, and it was wrapped around it. I made a mistake yesterday on my way back. The Lord had asked me to pick up these cans right here. These were the 4 cans. These were the cans that were over there at that bus stop over there. There were 3 of them, and then there was one can left on the seat, and when I picked it up, I didn't know it had beer in it, so it sort of overflowed. And one of the cans of those 3 there, one of them was right there at the edge of the sidewalk. So I think, and when I came here in the evening, the tent was fine. There was no cut, and I didn't see it sabotaged. That wasn't there. It was pretty much just fine. I dropped off everything and went to use, as a matter of fact, I sat down and I had dinner and picked up my bag that I usually use to go use the restroom. It has disinfectant and toilet paper, extra toilet paper on there. And the disinfectant and extra toilet paper is because sometimes when you go, there is no toilet paper, and the toilet seat is completely gross with somebody defecating all over it, and so you got to keep it, maintain its cleanliness, or else you're going to catch some sort of disease. So anyway, yesterday I went to the police department. The Lord had asked me to go to the police department, so I went to the police department to
because they kept on coming out against me. And I went to a Dollar Tree, and they wouldn't allow me to buy the clips. The clips were going to, it's these clips here, but the mega large ones, which was gonna be on top of this, and to hold it down like I normally have with these other clips, when these other smaller clips. Anyway, this is, hold on here, I'm trying to get this undone so you can see the full brunt of this thing here. Hold on a second here. This is the biggest hit yet. The other hit was nothing in comparison to this. This is the mother of all hits. And the Lord says, don't fix it, leave it, because if you keep fixing it or sewing it, it's just going to become part of your history. So this is the hit here. So you can see they took the knife or whatever it was, and they cut it here, and they ripped it open here, and here, all the way through. So this was the cut here. I had a box right there, and inside of the box was an IKEA bag. When I was coming back from the bathroom after I had made my police report, this tent here had a bunch of garbage in front of it, and a bunch of garbage back here, and the box that was in there, the box was right here, and there was nothing in the box. There was no IKEA bag. I didn't ask them anything. I didn't speak to them. I didn't know if there was anybody in the tent, so I never said a word to the person that was in the tent. So I didn't go inside of this tent here, because I figured if I go inside of the tent after I had been warned that there was a snake inside, and the snake was supposedly, and this is Melinda MacArthur. She's an evil witch. That woman. She's a lying spirit. So you can never trust what that white woman says. She told me that there was blood and there was death. And there was no blood and there was no death as a result of what they did to this tent here. Okay. So anyway, there was the box here. Over here was another bag. It was a black bag, and it was full of food. And there was also back here, there were two backpacks. There was a black backpack that had clothing in it, and another backpack that I was using for hold on here. There was another backpack that I was using for going to the gym, and there was a gray backpack that was also in there. The blue backpack that I was using for the gym had my Chromebook in it, so they took the Chromebook. It had my Bible in it, so they took the Bible. It had my record book in it. They took the record book with all the personal information. This room here I was going to use for a meeting room. The cross was going to be right there. And of course you can fit a couple of people in here, but after this hit, I'm not exactly sure what to think. I don't know these people, and I don't know who would do something like this. That is the epitome of just wickedness. I mean, here is, if I'm a worker, this is what they do to, this is a modern day hit against the work of the ministry. There was no need for this. There was no need for this act of hate and act of violence. The officer didn't even get out of the vehicle to take a police report, And my suspicion, to be quite honest with you, is that they were somehow involved. The police department, Grace Community Church, beginning with Tyler Klein. What was his name? Kirk Linehan had a son named Tyler. And so, every little bit of hint counts. And this is the, I had to go to the police. The police came by twice. But the third time, they sent me, what I was told was that there was a gunner and an African American that was driving around this neighborhood here, going down that street and making a circle. Apparently he was a gunner. I was sitting over there, and I was told to move to over there where the bicycle is, and I was told that if I stayed there, I was going to end up getting shot. So I needed to leave, and I ended up leaving, going to the gas station, the Chevron, and trying to get some food, but their doors were closed, so I left and went to the police department. And when I went to the police department, the guy behind the desk who took the report the first time, when I tried to buy the clips at Home Depot, Dollar Tree, and Target, and I was told no 3 times, when I had given him that report, I didn't know this is what was going on behind my back when I left. I did not see this. So when I came back here and I found this, I had to wait a couple hours, but then it was him who gave me this report number here. This is Arnold, so that was the guy's name. And I hate to make mention of this a third time, but the officer that I had spoken to on the 7th, this officer here, Tyler Klein, you can see his name, Tyler Klein, him. When I had spoken to him on the 7th, on that same day, I suspect that they went into the storage and they removed the flash drive that I had. And the flash drive basically contained videos, sermons, Word document for September, October, November, December. And when I went looking for it, I couldn't find it. And I'm thinking, well, did I put it in the bank box at Key Bank? I don't remember doing so. And this was after I had spoken to Klein. I believe that might have been his hit, because he came out through the community. And we didn't exactly hit it off. So this was the report for that. And of course it was, this report here is the toothache, the tooth that was pulled out, the raping and the laxative that they were putting inside of the milk that was making me run to the restroom so that they could take possession of the tent. And it's the other tent, the 9x9 tent. I'm not sure if it's still in there or if they've taken it or not. And it was in that very spot right there. And this is the tent that replaces the 9x9. So it began with, the first police report of the year began with this guy. This is the 9x9, and now this guy, this is the 12x16. So, it's like, if God calls us to the ministry of his word, right? He calls us to preach the word in season and out of season, to reprove, to rebuke, exhort with patience and instructions. And you can see these cards right here. I use them to preach the gospel. And I use them to preach the gospel, and they hear me in the neighborhood, okay? And they respond. And there was no need for this, because I wasn't going to leave it here. I was going to remove it. But this is what, this is still going on. I mean, when we preach the word, this is what the empire is doing today. And so I don't believe in my heart that the police department had nothing to do with this hit. I don't believe in my heart that John MacArthur is clean. I believe MacArthur had something to do with this. I believe that Elizabeth has something to do with this, through Gabrielle Franklin. You saw she left her gum there. So these people have, one of the things I made reference to last night when I was talking was that these people don't want to see me as an independent minister. They don't want to see me as an independent pastor establishing myself. The whole independence thing becomes a pride issue for them. It's like, let me destroy what you have, and then I'll give you something. And it's like, this is my gift of gratitude. And I was at the top of my lungs last night because I was so pissed off at the fact that they did this. And it's like, why is it that I can't be an independent minister that that volunteers my own money to do this kind of sacrificial work for the Lord? Why does it have to be something that you give me? Why does it have to come from your hand? Why can't it be something that I establish myself? Why do I need a senior over me, hovering over me, when I mean, if I'm in direct connection with the Lord, why isn't that enough? You know, I'm listening to the Lord. I'm seeing Him in visions, and He's talking to me. He's telling me to read the Word. Why isn't that enough? My mother's name is not Gabriel. My mother's name is Marianne. My father's name is not D. Franklin. My father's name is Michael Duclairon. So, you know, I don't need the mothering of a Gabriel. I don't need a fathering of a Guy Franklin. I don't need an enemy of a John MacArthur. You know, and this is the continuation of malpractice right here. I mean, if McNally was here, you know, and today I probably wouldn't be here. But I took the baton of malpractice from the hand of McNally, who is now dead, right, Kenneth, and now this is what it has become. I mean, if that's not if this is not clergy malpractice, you know, what this man has ordered these people to do and what these people have done, then I don't know what is. You know, this is we are called to preach the word in season and out of season, but then this is what becomes of it. So when it rains, it's going to get soaked and wet, and when it's cold, it's going to get extremely cold at nights. And so I can't stay in there. I have to come back down again. And is it really worth it for me to bring down the 9x9 and reduce this whole thing back to a 9x9, or do I just leave the state? Because if I leave the state and take an airplane and go somewhere else, they will follow. That is the curse of my natural born life, is that these people have been manipulating and controlling me since I was born. You know, since they can hear my voice on the inside. Melinda's an enemy, Gabriel's an enemy, MacArthur's an enemy, Jonathan Zabo's an enemy, and Jonathan Zabo represents the Queen of Wales. Melinda represents the